Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Toyin, and in today's video I'll be doing a book review slash discussion of a book that I really one of my most interesting reads this year so far, and the book is Born a Crime. Yes, Born a Crime by Trevor. The author of the book is Trevor, and Trevor is a South African comedian who is presently based in the US. Trevor is biracial. He's born by a black South African mom and a white dad from Switzerland, and he's a very talented guy, and I must say that his life is his life fascinates me a lot, and I'm very inspired by him, not just because he's very talented, but because of how he was able to rise from someone who used to be in the hood, downtown in South Africa, one of the slums. He rose and was able to start a very blossoming career in comedy, and he moved to the big cities, and now he's one of the most widely acclaimed comedians in the world. And it's very inspiring to see how his life has been when you read through the pages of this book. So the next thing I'm talking about is the genre of this book. So this book is a memoir, and it consists of 288 pages with 18 chapters, and each chapter is preceded by a prologue, which is very interesting, because usually when you read books, the books would usually have like one prologue before they now start all the chapters. But in this book, each chapter has its own prologue, and the prologue is it's just like maybe a page or two, and it kind of gives you an insight into what the next chapter is going to be talking about, which adds to the unique flavor of this book. This book was written in the first person narrative style, and the choice of words were very easy to understand, not too much, not little or no complex vocabulary, was such a page turner, and he employed the use of humor and historical facts. So as you read along, you find that you're not just reading about a boy, you are becoming you are somewhat a student of history, learning about history of South Africa. And I must say that I understood or I learned more about the history of South Africa, especially during the apartheid era, more while reading this book. So it was not just such a interest. It wasn't just talking about his life. We're talking about the country as a whole. So you get to be like a student of history, like I said. So the book is a memoir, like I said earlier. It chronicles life of Trevor as a mixed-race child, and his experiences, his childhood, his teenage years, and his young adult life as a mixed-race child raised by his black mom in South Africa. And in the book, we get to see how his mom was able to raise and protect him in spite of all the the negative and the daunting circumstances that she faced in South Africa at that time. And the book also made us see how she was able to surmount all the challenges that was incidental to her being a mother to a mixed-race child, which was an evidence of her crime. Yeah. So also in the book, you get to you also get to learn about the experiences of black South Africans during the apartheid era, and also during the now post-apartheid era, and seeing the impact of how that era has on the present day South Africa. And it was very interesting and enlightening to read. Like I said earlier, I learned a lot about South Africa's history, and I saw how racism as practiced in South Africa was a whole lot different from from what I've read in regarding how racism is practiced in America. And I could see that the kind of racism that was practiced in South Africa at that time was on another level, compared to the racism in America and other countries. It was more concentrated, it was very complex, and the book not only talks about, so like I said, it's not only talking about the life of Trevor, but also talking about the experiences of black South Africans as a whole. And I learned a whole lot from reading that book. The themes that stood out to me in this book are the theme of love, the theme of racism, the theme of courage, theme of survival, theme of poverty. Yeah, poverty was real in this book. Trust me, it was real. It was very real. Also, theme of religion. We could see how religion played a huge role in influencing the life of Trevor's mom. Also, the theme of language. I could see how language was such a tool that created a lot of barriers, even amongst the black South Africans, amongst themselves and amongst the colored ones. And you could see how the role languages play in uniting or dividing a nation basically. And finally, teenage infatuation. Yes, we had like a Trevor now gave us an inkling into, you know, his experiences, his child experiences, you know, on, you know, getting attracted to the other, you know, the other sex. You know, teenage infatuation was very, very interesting to just read how he had, you know, his like first and second and third experiences with, you know, the opposite sex. You know, it was just very interesting to see how he handled, or he was able to, you know, go through with teenage crush and all. So that was it. So let me just talk a little bit about 3 of these themes I just mentioned, which is I'll talk about the theme of love, the theme of racism, and the theme of courage. Yes, so regarding love, in fact, the whole of Trevor's life, whatever Trevor is today, whatever Trevor is today as a human being, as a young man, was largely influenced by the love his mother had for him. In fact, he coming into the world was just an act of love, and how she was able to raise him in spite of everything that was going on, how it was, you know, against the law. It wasn't a crime for him to be, you know, in existence, and for her to now raise him as a mom, and the length she would go to protect her child and stay with her child. At some parts in the book, you would see how she would, you know, dress up as a maid and allow another colored woman to, you know, to stay with her child, acting like his mom, in order to protect Trevor and herself from being separated. And she was posing as the maid just to be able to, you know, walk around the park with him in public. And it was just very, very amazing to see how the length a mother would go through for the love she has for her child. And another very interesting example was when she pushed him out of a moving bus in order to save his life. Trust me, that was wow. That's a mother doing anything to protect, you know, her child. And so the love of the mother was very evident, you know, in that scenario. And the next theme I also want to talk about is the theme of courage. Trevor's mom is the definition of courage. Her courage, in fact, her even taking that bold step to have a child of mixed race at that time in South Africa, something that was against the law at that time, was just showing courage on another level. And you know, it was very admirable. And even how she was able to raise him, even apart from even raising Trevor, even for trying to making something out of herself in South Africa, she did everything she could to provide for him, to get a job, to improve on herself as a woman, as a mother. You could see courage, and you could see how it, you know, influenced Trevor's life largely. And we could see today that, you know, all those values were, you know, evident in Trevor's life. And so lastly, I'll talk about the theme of racism. Guys, I've been hearing about racism, but reading this book, you know, I've had like a little bit of you know, knowledge about how racism was practiced in South Africa. But reading this book brought it home. I could understand it a lot better, and I realized that the way racism was practiced in America, like I said earlier, is a lot different from how it was practiced in South Africa. It was very concentrated, it was very complex, and it was just very dehumanizing. It was so bad. They wouldn't even allow black kids to get proper education. The only kind of education that was allowed for black kids in South Africa at that time was just for them to be able to read and write. Even in the manner in which they would be educated in schools, the way they would segregate them in schools was just on another level, guys. Trust me. South Africa's racism, in fact, I feel like racism is just an understatement for how terrible it was being practiced in South Africa at that time. So guys, in conclusion, my rating over 10 for this book is a 9. Yes, this book is a 9 over 10, and trust me, it was a very interesting, it was a beautiful read. It was one of my best books for 2018, trust me, so far. And the reason why I'm even giving it 9 over 10 is because I felt like I would have loved for him to talk to us more about how he was able to start a career and get away from the ghetto life he was living back then in comedy. And I heard he doesn't even have a college degree, and he has done so well for himself and has really improved on himself, you know, compared to the hood guy I was reading about in this book. So I'd have really appreciated it more if he had spoken to us about how he was able to, you know, start a career, you know, in comedy, in radio, and how he was able to move to the US. And so guys, so I feel like he needs to do a part 2 of this book. We need to learn more about how he was able to start his career and, you know, improve on himself, like I said. So guys, that's the end of today's video. Please, if you read this book, leave a comment below. Let me know what you think. you know, I would like for us to continue this conversation in the comment section. Please let me know what you think. Let me know what you've learned. You know, let me know if you agree with me on some things I said. If you also think you need a part 2, let me know in the comment section. And if you haven't subscribed to this channel, please support this channel by doing so. Just click on the subscribe button and the bell button beside it, so you can be the first to know whenever I upload a new video. And also give the thumbs up. Yes, give it a thumbs up. Please give it a thumbs up and support this channel. I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.